What's up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And as everybody knows, 99% of the people cannot go to the gym anymore, so it's time to do workouts at home. Some fortunate people have home gyms or have dumbbells or barbells, but still, most people don't have anything like that. They only have their own body, maybe some furniture in the house or resistance bands. Now, a lot of people have actually purchased resistance bands lately because they realize the amount of exercises you can do, and today we're going to do some chest exercises. And you have to keep in mind, every single bodybuilder who goes on stage, right before you go on stage, you have to warm up and get a very good pump. We only use these backstage, so if you want to have the best possible pump, you can actually use resistance bands to get a very good blood flow into the muscles. And today we're going to do the chest, so the first exercise will actually be the push-up. So the first exercise, just like a lot of people like to do the chest press, the bench press, or the dumbbell press first, we're going to mimic that exercise with a similar resistance using resistance bands. So the first one will be a push-up, so you're using your body weight. Obviously, just your body weight is easy to do 40, 50, or even more push-ups, and that's a little too high of reps, too much volume. But if you stick around 20 to 30 reps, it's actually very good for muscle growth, which a lot of people forget. And you can also get a very good mind and muscle connection and constant tension on the muscle. So let's first do the push-up. So you have this elastic band, this resistance band, you wrap it around your back. So when you push, you stretch out the band, and it becomes more difficult as you go upwards, actually contracting the chest as you do. So first, you put your hands on the ground, you get yourself in a position, tuck your elbows to the inside. You don't want to flare the elbows because that hurts the shoulders. Then go down, and then as you go up, this is actually quite difficult already. Depending on how thick the band is, the more difficult it will become. So you go down and you go all the way up, and here you have no choice but to contract the chest because the tension of the band will force you to do that. So here we're going to do a few of these reps.
Now, obviously, everybody can come up with doing a push-up, but doing a banded push-up has quite a lot of variations. You can do a wide grip push-up as well. That stretches his chest even more and elongates the resistance bands, making it an even more difficult exercise to complete. So definitely one of the staples in this chest workout.
All right, now you just saw the push-ups, and actually if you want to warm up with the push-ups, just first use the body weight because it actually can be pretty heavy with these bands. So first do body weight push-ups, then use the bands, and after that you will have a great pump in the chest already. Now we're going to do another press, so not a fly yet. First another chest press using actually a pole, most people have that, or even go outside and find a tree. Just something to actually attach this band to so you can actually have some pressure as you go forward. Then instead of going inwards, you're straight forward. This is actually a press. The only downside is you don't really get a good stretch here, but you can actually fix that by actually standing forward, just like you would with a fly, but still push forward exactly like this. Instead of going inside like a fly, you go forward to do a press. Now, depending on which resistance band you have, it can be quite light, so the more you stand forward, the more difficult it will become. So here it actually becomes very difficult to push it all the way forward. So let's do a few reps with this one.
Now, for people who really cannot find a pole or a beam or anything to attach the band to, you can also use your own body. That will limit the length of the resistance band, so it will be lighter, but then just hold the bands in a way to make it more difficult, so that in total, the band will be shorter and more resistant.
Okay, the next exercise is going to be Uni-lateral one. Actually a very great way to fix imbalances in the muscles, and you pre-exhaust the actual fly we're going to do later with this one using one arm at the same time. I actually did this exact exercise to fix a weak point in the upper chest. So what you want to do, attach the band as high as your shoulder level, so you have a straight plane. So you don't go too high, not too low. You have a straight plane to move your arm to the inside to contract the chest. So what you do, you can stand very far away. That would actually be too difficult. You want to stand a little bit closer, then move inwards, as hard as you can, and you can literally feel and see how much the chest is contracting here. So then very slowly go here. You feel that the tension is getting less, but here it's all about the contraction. And you want to do 15 reps each to properly pre-exhaust this one before doing actual flies.
Now, as I mentioned, this one actually was one exercise I used to do for many months to increase the size of the upper chest. As you can see, I did attach the band as high as my shoulder level, so pretty much the upper chest is targeted here very well. The only thing you don't really have here is the stretch, not as much at least, but the contraction is very much here, which makes it an excellent exercise to achieve a very good pump. And you can really use this as a pre-exhaust exercise for many other exercises after this. So if you do find the push-ups way too light, you can even use this one before and then do the push-ups to make it a much more difficult exercise. I do believe in pre-exhaustion even when just being in the gym, when having the equipment all to yourself. Pre-exhaustion is still a great tool to grow.
Okay, the next one is going to be the fly I was talking about. But this one will be low to high flies. One I actually like to do with a cable machine. If you go from the bottom to the top, you literally work the way the upper chest is designed to work. So this movement works the upper chest. You can do it very well with these resistant bands. Now, you can do it like this, but this is very light. What you want to do is put your leg back so you have more range of motion. When you then go upwards, it's going to be very difficult to do. So you want to do this for at least 12 reps. And if you want to make it more difficult, you actually grab the band lower and lower. If you want to even, because this is almost impossible. So that's the way to make it more difficult and actually have progressive overload. So let's do a couple of reps with this one.
This is one of the exercises that I always utilize backstage before going on stage at a competition. Why? Because it not only targets the upper chest, but as you can see, also the front delts. So for some people who want to turn a chest workout into a push workout and they want to put some shoulder work into it as well, this is a very good exercise to as a bridge between a chest and a shoulder exercise. And also I put this one in because it doesn't require anything but the resistant band. So even if you really cannot find a pole or a beam to attach it to, you can use your body. But obviously if you can also attach it to the lower side of a pole and then do an exercise like this, and then you can achieve a better stretch.
Alright, for the next one, we're going to be on the ground as if it would be on a bench in the gym. We're going to do the pullover exercise, like a cable pullover or a dumbbell pullover for the chest. And for a lot of people who have trouble with a mind-muscle connection, this is actually a much easier way to feel the chest compared with dumbbell. So grab the resistant band, depending on how strong you are, how easy it is. You wanna, if you're very strong, you want to grab it very close to the insertion point, and by the way, you can attach this to your bed, the couch, a heavy table, as long as it's heavy enough so you actually don't drag it with you, to make sure you can do the exercise. So I'm going to grab it about here. You want to interlock your fingers, so you hold the resistant bands and you actually go here. And right now I feel the contraction in my chest incredibly much. So I want to do a few reps of this, at least 10 reps. And depending on how heavy you do it, you can get a very good contraction here.
This exercise actually looks quite a lot like an exercise I used to do. Obviously you guys know I like to do the dumbbell pullover, but lately I've been adding a resistant band to the dumbbell to make the tension maximum at the bottom point, just like here.
Okay, now that we did chest, it's time for the triceps. I personally always do chest and triceps together because especially when you do a lot of push-ups, you work the triceps a lot automatically. You want to then finish them off with tricep exercises. We're going to start with an overhead extension because that works the long head, and the long head is the biggest part of the triceps, and if you want to have that grow, the entire arm grows as well. So you stand on the resistance band, put it overhead, and for some people this can be quite heavy if this band is quite thick. So put it behind you. Here you feel the stretch and then go all the way up, contract it for a second, and then go all the way down slowly. The key here is to go down slowly so you can actually feel the tricep work. Go up and contract, go down slowly until you feel the stretch, then go back up. Do this for 12 to 15 reps.
Now this is an awesome exercise for the triceps. You can see, when you're lean enough, you can see the tricep moving, you can see it stretching and contracting. I mean, you can see both, and you can have the mind-muscle connection in the muscle as well. You know, it's a great exercise. This one is very good to do as a first tricep exercise because, as I said, it's the long head that you're training first, and the long head is the most important head of the triceps when your main priority is hypertrophy or muscle growth. And for me, the triceps are a weaker point compared to the biceps, so that's why I like to hit that long head first before doing anything else. So definitely try this one out. It's one of the few exercises that also gives a great stretch and a good contraction at the same time.
All right, the next tricep exercise is going to be the tricep kickback. You again want to loop it around a pole. For example, in the street you have street lights, you have trees. In the house you may have poles, or outside. Try to find one that's sturdy enough to hold this resistance. You want to attach it to a height that is the same as when you bend down, at the same height as your arm when you go backwards. So you have actually a perfect tension on the tricep. So you want to actually stand backwards so you feel the stretch right here, then go all the way back. And it's actually a very heavy exercise to do. Do this for 10 to 12 reps and you get a very good pump.
This to me is actually sometimes an even better version of the kickback compared to a dumbbell kickback. If you use a dumbbell kickback and your tricep is pretty strong, you actually have to hold the dumbbell up with your rear delts the whole time because your arm needs to be in parallel to the floor. So you have to hold the arm up. Here, because the band is attached to the pole, you don't have to hold anything up. You only have to focus on the contraction of the tricep, which actually makes this a better exercise sometimes than the dumbbell version.
Okay guys, that was the workout. Short and sweet, but keep in mind, I say 10 to 12 reps. You can do 20 reps if this is way too light for you. And that actually promotes muscle growth as well. It has been proven all the way from 6 to 30 reps all promote muscle growth. So if you're used to a low volume program, just experience this period as a new stimulus for the muscle, for new gains and muscle growth. And then you go back into the gym with a renewed body. So anyway guys, there's so many more exercises like this to find, but these are my picks, as these look a lot like the exercises I like to do in the gym myself. So I'm pretty tired actually from these exercises. So try it out, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.